Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever is listening. This is Charlie Jewett with the Renovating Retirement Podcast. I'm the whistleblower standing up to the industry, teaching you everything you need to know to build your own retirement plan and avoid the scams and all the bad stuff and all the lies and all the creepery that is the financial services industry. Today's episode is going to be kind of different, a little bit different for me. Honestly, it's mostly a story, but it's a wonderful story. I recently took both of my children on individual daddy, daughter, and father-son vacations. And this particular episode is about my vacation with my son, where we went to Hawaii. Episode 73, and it's called Hogs and Advisors Gone Wild. Now, on June 16th, 2011, the Discovery Channel aired their first episode of a new show called Hogs Gone Wild. I've watched it. It's awesome. They're catching wild feral hogs in Hawaii and Texas, and I believe it's also Florida. Now, here's the introductory paragraph explaining the show. They are aggressive and destructive, not to mention intelligent, and until recently, they've been left alone in their natural habitat. But those days are rapidly disappearing for free-roaming wild hogs. This series documents the work of 3 animal removal companies in Texas, Hawaii, and Florida, as they attempt to control the population of these unruly beasts, which cause millions of dollars in damage to businesses, farms, and homeowners each year in the United States. But corralling them is not easy, as some grow as large as 700 pounds. And they reproduce at an unbelievably high rate. 2 hogs, for example, can produce 44,000 of their kind. Wow, what a show. Now, as you may know, I fell behind on putting my show out every single day because for these last 2 weeks, when I took my kids on vacation, it was pretty difficult to put out my show. I took my daughter to Chicago and Wisconsin, and she did an incredible job working the registration table for the public seminars I was conducting with an amazing financial advisor there in the Chicago area. Now, last week, like I mentioned, I took my son to Hawaii to work with me with my own clients because that's where most of my clients are. Now, I want to tell you a story about my trip with my son, and then at the end, I'm going to use it as an analogy to teach you an important piece of information about the status of the financial services industry. The flight from San Diego to Hawaii, which I've done so many times, but this is the first time I was really doing it with my son only, that flight can be almost 6 hours long at times, about 5.5 hours. Now, as we all do, my son was really hoping, "Dad, I hope no one sits next to me." You see, he asked for the aisle, but I'm over 200 pounds at the recording of this show, about 210. And I said, "No, son, you need to sit in the middle seat. Daddy doesn't fit in that middle seat comfortably." He was upset, but he's a good boy, and said, "Okay, Dad." Now, when it was our turn to board the plane, we arrived at seat 7D, the aisle, and 7E, the middle, to find that there was already someone sitting in the window seat. Wow, there goes our chances of having no one next to us, I thought. It was a young boy, though, so I thought at least he's small and won't be crowding my son's space and sticking his elbows over. It'll be nice, right? Immediately, the boy struck up a conversation with my son with an impressive level of confidence and ability to communicate. It was pretty awesome. Before I knew it, we were in the air, and the boys were sharing video games, laughing, hitting each other, pulling off their headsets to share exciting parts of the movie they were each watching, and the flight turned out to be an amazing, amazing experience. Now, I assumed the boy was flying alone, as he told stories of being in San Diego for over a month and a half, and now returning to see his dad, and the flight attendants kept bringing him whatever he wanted, for free. I just assumed it was one of those situations where a parent put him on the plane in San Diego, and the other one was going to pick him up when he landed in Honolulu. Maybe his parents were divorced, I don't know. He told story after story of hunting and fishing with his dad, his pet pig, his little mini pig that sleeps in bed with him, and all kinds of wonderful family tales. It sounded like an amazing family. He really was an amazing 9-year-old boy. One story caught my son's attention because my son has recently developed a serious interest in hunting. The window seat boy said his dad takes them hunting for pigs in the mountains of Hawaii, and they hike for hours and hours to find them. At the end of one such story, when we were about to land in Honolulu, the boy said, "You should go hunting with us." I probably don't have to explain the look on my son's face or the level of excitement in his heart at the idea of finally going hunting while in Hawaii on vacation with his dad. For him, this would be a dream come true, and the look on his face screamed that. Not for me, on the other hand. I tend to shy away from letting complete strangers with weapons take me deep into the woods. But I've been working in Hawaii for over 8 years and have learned that the aloha spirit and their beautiful focus on hospitality means, they see the world a little bit differently than we do on the mainland. For a stranger to welcome us into their lives, offer friendship and hospitality right on the spot is more the norm there. Whereas where I'm from, it's really, really rare. Now, keep in mind that I was in the Chicago time zone for the 6 previous days, taking my daughter on a vacation. I was home for less than 24 hours to switch kids, then back on a plane for almost 6 hours before we arrived in Hawaii, which is 5 hours behind Chicago time. Now, my body had gotten used to Chicago time. I was sleeping those hours. The boy said he'd give us his dad's phone number, so I pictured, getting off the plane, walking with the boy and meeting his dad. We gathered our bags, my son and I, got off the plane, and turned around, and the boy was gone. Nowhere to be found. He was in the seat next to us, and we get off in turn. Where could he be? Oh yeah, I think I remember from when my daughter flew alone to meet me in Las Vegas on a business trip, that the flight attendants hold them back and then bring them out in person so it's safer for the child. That must be what's going on. Okay, cool. My son and I stayed at the gate and waited for him. A few minutes later, I see him walk off the plane with 2 other kids and his mom. Huh? Were they on the plane the entire time? Yes. I don't know where they sat or why I had to function as his mom on the plane, so much so that the flight attendants kept telling me how thankful they were for me. But they were all coming off the plane as a family. I guess he wasn't flying alone. I approached the mom, told her what an amazing seatmate her son is, and asked about the hunting invite. Was it legit? Do you really want to invite us hunting? She said yes and took my number and gave it to her husband. To make an already long story short, that very same day, as my son and I were driving to the beach to do some swimming, we get a call on my cell phone, and the husband says, "We're going pig hunting tonight. You're welcome to join us." I think, holy cow, tonight? I'm exhausted. The start time for the hunting is 8 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 1 a.m. in Chicago, where my body was on that time. And we're supposed to hike for 3 hours in the middle of the night? Ugh. I look at my son's face, and he's beaming, grinning from ear to ear, repeatedly saying, "Please can we go? Please can we go? Please can we go, Dad? It'll be so amazing." The thought crosses my mind. Why did I bring my son with me to Hawaii? To make memories, to make an impact, to leave a positive impression, to have fun. Whose fun? Mine? No, his fun. Love is about sacrifice, and it was my turn. Against everything my body was telling me, I agreed to go hunting in the middle of the night. After shopping for cleats, flashlights you wear on your head, and food, we meet our new hunting buddies, and they have a truck full of 6 hunting dogs. Now I realize that this may become the best day of my son's life. This boy likes dogs more than any human I've ever met on the planet, and it's been that way his entire life. Now we have 6 dogs with us, helping us hunt during the night through muddy mountains with new friends to hopefully find pigs. This is a 10-year-old boy's dream come true. A 44-year-old man's nightmare and a 10-year-old boy's dreams are both about to come true. Nightmare might be too strong of a word, but my body and mind were screaming, "No!" to a 3-hour hike while the bed in our hotel sat empty, warm, and waiting for me. As soon as I saw the dogs, I said to our new friends, "Whoa, this is like Hogs Gone Wild, the TV show. Are we going to do it like they do on the show?" And we did. Boy, did we ever. We entered the muddy woods in our cleats. Without them, we would have slid down the mountain. Flashlights on our heads, purposefully looking for animals that are large enough and scared enough to gore us to death. They released the dogs, and poof, they're gone. 40 minutes of hiking, then stopping to listen, then hiking, then stopping to listen. We heard it. The squeals of a wild hog. "Let's go, the leader says, and we're running in the woods at night in the mud with flashlights on our head through the mountains. Follow me, he says. Huff, puff. Well, maybe only me. I'm the only one huffing and puffing. The boys seemed unfazed by the exercise. How does that work? More huffs, more puffs, and we find the dogs who faithfully cornered a nasty, ugly, smelly, wild feral pig. My son's dreams came true. Spontaneous pig hunting on the first night of vacation in Hawaii with Dad. And we got a pig. I was so pleased it happened in just 40 minutes until they gutted the pig, hung him in a tree, and I heard the words, "Let's go get another one." Oh, deep breath, Charlie. We're making memories here. Your son is worth it. You need the exercise anyway. And we went out again. We got home after 4 a.m. Chicago time, and it was after 5 a.m. my body's time before I got my chance to slip into that soft and warm bed. I slept hard, but happy. Very, very happy. My son cannot stop talking about the best experience of his life, hunting pigs with Dad in Hawaii. It truly was an amazing, amazing experience. Now, why do I tell this silly story? I'm a financial educator. What's the point of a story about pigs? For one, it's because I'm a human first, a father who is a financial educator, and this experience with my son moved me deeply. My podcast is where I share the things most near and dear to me, and I felt like sharing it. So that's the number one reason, because I wanted to. The second reason is because there's a pretty significant analogy and correlation between what the feral pigs are doing to homeowners' expensive landscaping and what the joker brokers and captive insurance agents are doing to the life savings of my fellow Americans. Let's revisit that paragraph that Discovery Channel used to describe their show, Hogs Gone Wild. They are aggressive and destructive, not to mention intelligent, and until recently they've been left alone in their natural habitat. But those days are rapidly disappearing for free-roaming wild hogs. This series documents the work of 3 animal removal companies in Texas, Hawaii, and Florida, as they attempt to control the population of these unruly beasts, which cause millions of dollars in damage to businesses, farms, and homeowners each year in the United States. But corralling them is not easy, as some grow as large as 700 pounds, and they reproduce at an unbelievably high rate. 2 hogs, for example, can produce 44,000 of their kind. Now, let me change just a few words and rewrite this paragraph as if it were the description of my podcast, which could have easily been called Advisors Gone Wild. Listen to it this way. They are aggressive and destructive, not to mention intelligent. And until recently, they've been left alone in their natural habitat. But those days are rapidly disappearing for retail mutual fund salesmen and captive insurance agents pushing their damaging wares. This podcast documents the work of whistleblower Charlie Jewett as he attempts to expose the lies of these unruly beasts, which cause millions of dollars in damage to retirees and homeowners each year in the United States. But confronting them is not easy, as these wild, selfish, beastly advisors will not let go of their almost perfect financial racket without a fight. People, I started this show because selfish financial advisors have infiltrated the industry just like these feral pigs have taken over in certain towns. They've infiltrated the industry to such a degree that your chance of getting the optimal financial plan is virtually zero without a show like this. You must be walking in to meet with a financial advisor armed with what I'm teaching in all these episodes, and we're up to 73. It's probably over 20 hours of content here, and you need to know it or you will be taken advantage of. And all of that hard work, everything you did for 30 or 40 years, you will then be handed an inferior retirement, which your family will pay for the rest of all the generations that ever live. They are too big. These advisors, these companies, they're too big, too strong, and too proliferate to handle on your own. Keep listening and learn how to exterminate the financial wild hogs who've been ravaging your retirement. For now, though, Let me remind you of a few tools you better master to make sure that you choose the right advisor and then hold them accountable. Let's just cover two of them right now, because these two tools you'll rule out 95 to 99% of the advisors on the planet anyway. The first one is you've got to have three types of money. If anybody is suggesting that you can enter retirement with just the two types of money, which most advisors want you to use, you must fire them on the spot, run away as fast as you possibly can. They are going to hurt you. The three types of money are in case, income, and increase. In case, income, and increase. While you're working, you have these three types of money. In case accounts, bank accounts, things like that, is in case something goes wrong. It's your emergency fund. You have that while you're working, that's fine. While you're working, you have income. It's a paycheck, or it's, your business income if you own a business. That's great. And while you're working, you have increase accounts. You have all three types of money while you are working. In case, income, and increase. Your increase accounts while you're working, your retirement plans, your retirement accounts, your stock portfolio, wherever you're putting money. Places that you're accumulating money to use later on. When you stop working, which one goes away? You're right, the middle one. The income goes away. I have a very dear family member who retired, and the joker broker told her that she only needed two types of money. Now, they don't say it that way. They just show you a stock portfolio or a portfolio of mutual funds and say, oh, yeah, it averages 7 to 8%. You can live off of this thing and just take out 4 or 5% a year. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. No, you're not going to be fine. The leading expert on how much you can take out of one of these portfolios says it's down to 2.8% is all you can take out. You can have 2 or 3 times the income by using annuities. When you stop working and you lose your income, make sure that you have income-producing annuities. Now, you don't need them if your Social Security, your pensions, and all the rents that are coming in your life, if you have rental properties, if all that adds up to more income than you need to live, then you don't need annuities, because those are your income accounts. Social Security, pensions, annuities, rental properties, those are income accounts. So you must have three types of money. Anybody suggesting that you should be taking income from a stock portfolio or a portfolio of mutual funds needs to be fired. You will be thankful for that. The second tool is the 5 Lives of Retirement test. Any retirement plan has to work no matter what happens for you. Remember, there's 5 lives in retirement. You could have a long life, a short life, a rough life, a sick life, and eventually you're going to move into the next life. If you have a long life, you do not want to run out of income. This test tests financial plans and asks questions like, do I have guaranteed income that can never stop from a stock portfolio or mutual funds? You can't get that. If you're taking money out of the bank and you're just spending down your assets, you can't get that. You can only get that from annuities and income accounts. Short life, what if I predecease my spouse and they lose my working income or they lose my Social Security income, plus they're a single taxpayer, they're paying more taxes? Is my spouse going to be okay? That's a short life. Rough life is just emergency funds. Can we get to the money without penalty? Yes. Sick life is long-term care. If one of us gets sick, goes into a long-term care home for $8,000 a month for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is, will the other person be okay after that? And then the next life has everything to do with when you pass away, are you going to be leaving behind as much as you want to? Well, this is different for all of you, and I'm going through it very quickly here, but you must ask any financial plan these questions. Am I going to be okay if I have a long life? Do I have guaranteed income? Am I going to be okay if I have a short life? Will my spouse be okay if I die? Am I going to be okay if I have a rough life? Can I access my money? Am I going to be okay if I have a sick life where I can pay for long-term care and still have enough left to give me all the income I need or my spouse needs? And am I going to be okay as I move into the next life and leave behind the proper amount that I want to after all of these events? That's the 5 Lives of Retirement test. You need to use that on any plan that anybody is suggesting, even if it's me or one of my certified retirement renovators. Anyway, I am Charlie Jewett. I've been being Charlie Jewett, and tomorrow I'm going to be Charlie Jewett. And this is it for today, episode 73, coming to a close. People, follow me on Facebook, Jewett Wealth Management. That's Jewett. My website is Jewett Wealth, JEWETTWEALTH.com. And you can follow me on Twitter, tweet, at Reno, RENO_retirement. I think you people are the best.
Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett.
But that's all, folks.